Alright, hey guys, so I'm finally doing the drum and bass tutorial that I've been planning on doing for a really long time. It's been a popular request and not something I typically do, but I think I found or come up with something that you guys will really like, so here it is. I haven't listened to it on my monitors yet. I don't really know if it sounds right or not yet. Um, but you know, that's all I got so far, and I'm hoping to like work on it, maybe make like a sort of series out of it, and like have like an intro and all that stuff, and like kind of make it from the drop, I guess. So yeah, I have some drum samples here, obviously, that I want to keep working on. And I did that on purpose so that like I have it half done, sort of. I didn't do any compression on the kick, just a little EQ there. And I don't really plan on doing much because it's like I tried and it didn't really sound too good. So let me just remove the bass and we can just listen to the drum beat alone. So if you listen to the hi-hats, if you add the stereo enhancer here on this one, see how it sounds like so much more like wide, kind of like it's coming from behind. That's just because of the phase offset or stereo delay, whatever you want to call it. And now you can hear it a lot more clearly. I'm not trying to do too much stereo imaging anymore. I think I did a little bit too much, and I'm still experimenting with it. Like I'm still like not sure, but I'm going light on it for this. And yeah, so I'm also gonna add some reverb to the hi-hats and things like that. So I'm just doing that with you guys, just because, so you can watch me do it, I guess. And like, I don't know, like some people actually want to see this, so I don't know, it's just one of those things. So I don't know, I'm going pretty light on the hi-hats just because they're always like hitting, so I don't really need like high decay or anything. And like same for the snare, I might do something like with the delay on that, like I've done that with Epiphany. Like I like that, but because it's drum and bass and it's hitting all the time, I'm not sure if it actually like sounds right. But it doesn't sound too bad if I go really light on it though. And I'm also thinking about adding a, what is it, like ride sort of thing on the kick, because I find that helps. I don't know if it's going to sound good with all the hi-hats we already have, but I'm just going to take two different ones, and those ones sound pretty similar. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do with that is like sort of have them alternate and go from like I don't know how to explain it, but you'll just have to see. So I already have all these patterns and all these things because this is like a completely different thing I was working on. Really all I have is the bass on massive, you know what I mean? Like ignore most of the stuff. This is just in case I want to use it basically, so I don't have to go rummaging through my like Silent and whatnot. So yeah, so everything's pretty much like already there. And then on two different patterns, and I guess I could give them a name, not rude. So yeah, and you know I have to do it, I'm sorry, I have to give it a name. But yeah, so I'm not exactly sure like where it's gonna go. I think I'm just gonna place it where it's like supposed to be there, or where it's supposed to go. And yeah, So it sounds a little bit funny, but I think with EQ it actually might sound alright. I think I'm going to shorten this one as well. Even add some like panning or something to it. So yeah, the kick is I guess at 5, and the snare is like around 5 anyway. So like the kick and the snare is pretty much in the same like level dB wise, and you know, I guess the mixing is just by ear. I don't really like follow the numbers as much. And yeah, so the bass, hopefully I'll teach you how to make it here in a minute if I can find it. And so yeah, I'm just trying to like think, because I already tried recording this and now I don't know what I said or what I didn't say, so it's kind of like confusing. But I'm just like removing all of the you know, low end on the EQ. Like that's the basic sort of mixing style. But obviously I'm keeping the low end on the kick and the bass. You know, I added a lot of low end here, as you can see, just because it wasn't very strong. It was sounding pretty like gritty. And but yeah, I guess I'll show you kind of how I made it. I'll see if I can sort of make it from scratch, like not the same one obviously, but like what I kind of went through to make it. So basically I just did like saw here and then just square, right? And then that's what I usually do, and then just add something like else. I think it was like that one. Grain, is it grain or groan? Yeah, so groan 1 I guess is what I added, and I just bring the pitch down to 12 on each just because I usually just mess with like the wave positions and all that stuff until like it sounds sort of where I want it to be. Modulation, oscillator, or whatever, I put that to -12 as well. Also, I always forget to say this, go on oscillators and, you know, restart via gate. I have something that looks sort of like this, but depending on the oscillators, like it'll change where you add or where you put these. I like to move it around. I think it's sort of like changing the wave position or phasing or whatever. So that's what it sounds like to me anyway. So it can give you a completely different sound just by moving this stuff. So I recommend moving it. You know, and I did something with the phase knob, and you can see right here, it was for oscillator 1. So, and yeah, you can see like the wave position is actually in the middle. So it's not really a square, it's like square saw. And this is, I don't really know, there wouldn't be a name for it, but sort of like 9-10 o'clock. And yeah, so then I added, I guess, the all pass, which is what made the and I'll show you the like opening of the sound. Yeah, I just sort of used the envelope 1, and you know, I didn't really change much except for bring the level down and the decay up just a little bit, and I got it right here, and I think you can see that. But yeah, I use all pass. I'm sure you could use like band pass or band reject or something like that. It's sort of like luck. That's how I kind of got the sound. It was just messing around for a while. And yeah, I also added like classic tube, I believe. I added a lot of that, and I also added sign shaper, and I added like a little bit of that until it sounded cool or different. I wanted it to have like a tone to it, because without the tone you wouldn't really hear the pitching up, or the illusion that it is pitching up, because it seems like it sort of is, but it isn't. It's just the filter, the all-pass filter, that's making it sort of sound like it's pitching up, but really it's always kind of an A. It's just the frequencies moving. So yeah, I got that on the first cutoff there, and I want to do something else so that it kind of sounds like it's pitching back down, and I think we'll do that. Like, we could do that right now, actually. So I don't know. So we just add it at the end, I think, because that's my way of doing things. I don't know how else you would do it. I'm sure there is a better way, though. Yeah, I doubt this is even going to work. 1 second. Oh, okay. No, it did work. Okay, that's very satisfying. Great. Just gonna turn these rides down. I'm not used to them, so I'm turning them down. And we gotta add like a 4th bit. So I'm still mixing those rides. I'm not happy, but yeah. So I think what we'll do is add like a pad on top of that, and so yeah, I think that sounds okay. I don't think I'm gonna have this on every like loop, if you will. So I'm gonna name that to bass, and then I know you can't see it. It's at the bottom way down here. I'm still using FL10 because I can't. I don't know. I can't get used to FL11. Not yet, anyway. I will one day. One day it'll happen. So yeah. And then we'll add something where I guess the chords might change or something like that. You might have seen me save there. I do that a lot, which is highly recommended by me since I lost a lot of projects not saving. Right, so I think that's a lot of it. I mean, I did some stereo separation on the bass so that it wouldn't, like, I use ozone mostly for the, what is this? The vector scope. Yes, it's for the stereo image. Oh, look. Happy New Year, I guess. Look at that. So yeah, I don't want the the noise to go like here on these outer sections. I just want the bass sort of to stick like here. So okay, it's doing it again. So I basically just separated it until it did that. The only reason why it is like sort of stereo imagey is because of the fruity phaser that I added to it, right? So you know, this is not in EQ. I should probably just delete that. It's not doing anything. But I got, you know, obviously the side chain to the kick, and I also did like its own like beat side chain. It's not technically side chain, it's just the volume moving up and down, but it's like the general side chain shape. And you might be able to hear that, it's just bouncing sort of. And I mean the phaser, again, it's on default, so you gotta right click on default there, and it's at like 20% right here, so there isn't much effect, but just enough to really give it some character. This is what it sounds like without it. Some people would prefer it this way. I might actually turn it down a little bit because I think it does sound pretty cool like alone. But yeah, so like 13% or whatever, and like, you know, this is the EQ. I wouldn't do this much bass like boosting, whatever. I just did it because I thought it needed it, since I don't know, I was listening to it over and over again. So it's becoming like immune to whatever bass was there. I mean, that's what it sounded like without, right? So I just cleaned some of that upper mid and left. Like this part here is sort of that envelope, filter envelope. And so yeah, that's, I wanted people to be able to really hear that, like that shift, I guess, that envelope. Bringing this down was actually great. It really did clean up a lot of that like dirty frequency, I guess. Okay, now we have to add things, which is usually the most difficult part for me anyway, to keep going. Sorry, I have a watermelon in my mouth, and it's very juicy. So I got this sort of generic pad. It's just two sawtooths, you know, one an octave higher, you know, just detuned, and this not that. This one's like the same thing. It's just got two voices on the sawtooth, and the detune's only at 2. So it sounds very like generic saw-like, but it isn't, you know, because it's still detuned and moving. And we can add like a chord on top of that. So let's go to this one. Just gonna get that like sort of harmony bass thing on the saw, because I think it sounds better like that. Just listen to it one sec. We could also really like change the way I don't know, the bass line works, I guess. I know I'm kind of doing like a weird style of tutorialing, because I'm just sort of like not really showing you much. I'm just kind of showing you what I already did. I'm not starting from scratch or anything, but I don't know, I kind of like this, because then we can experiment like on the spot, because if people want more advanced stuff, and I don't know, like I don't really know what that means. So I'm just gonna sort of like go from like a more, I don't know, advanced part of the track. I mean, obviously other things you can do is actually like just change the way the beat works. Like this is just looping over and over the same way. So I think I'm gonna do that later. It's not really important now. So yeah, I'm gonna add like some change in the bass, like harmony, like the bass line. So I think what I'm gonna do is, instead of having like all these different patterns, I'm just gonna have it all in one. So I might just like delete the last pattern here, take this, or just never use it. Alright, so, and this can just go right here, and we don't need to have two different, yeah, you get it, right? No? Okay. So, wait. I mean, it can be that simple. I mean, I think the sound is powerful enough that you don't need to change too much to it. But yeah, and I think I might even bring it down like an octave, because it'd be really bassy if I did. But I don't know, I didn't want too much of that. I want it to be pretty clean, so I might do that later if you guys like it. And then I can put the pad on top of that and maybe work with it. So this is sort of a different pad. I'm gonna copy this, clone this pattern. All right, so now we can mess with it. I'm still sort of deciding which pad to use out of the two. But yeah, I do think that sounds much better actually. So I'm gonna throw that. Actually, I might not even use. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Copy paste that, bring it down. But I do want to like change it. I want to change the way the pads work melody wise. I don't want it to just be the same sort of notes. So you can sort of change the intervals here. Sounding very like major now. It doesn't really sound as intense as it used to, which is kind of a problem with me, since I like these sort of chords. I know I'm in the wrong key. Just let me sort this out. I always bring back everything back down to E flat major because that's what I'm comfortable with. That would go here, I think. Now, if we wanted minor chords, then obviously, or make it sound more, I don't know, less cheesy, I don't know, then we would bring the C sharp, I think, down to C. And that F sharp to like G or something. And now we're like sort of in a different key, so I don't know if this last chord will actually work. So let me just bring it back to C. I think this would be C minor, and that's like the corresponding scale or key to E flat major. I think. So I've been told. Right, so we want this to be here. Back down to A, which is our scale for the moment. All right, so I'm gonna end the tutorial there. We're already on like 26 minutes. What the hell happened? But yeah. So this is sort of gonna be a experimental sort of tutorial where I sort of I don't know. It's kind of like a live stream almost, which by the way, I did a European one earlier, a couple weeks ago, and yeah, it's gonna be sort of like a live stream style where I think I kind of keep releasing videos like this, and like we sort of all sort of build it depending, because I don't know enough, I think, on drum and bass and what you guys want, and sort of like what to get into. So I think I'm gonna make it a lot more user friendly, if that makes sense, and just get the input from you people that watch my videos. But I also want to get into everything. That's another thing. I find it so hard to get into everything. So that's why I just made this beat and I did all these different things, but I didn't really get anywhere. You know what I mean? That's the whole experimental part of it. If you want me to get someplace with this, then that's what I'll do next time. But this was like sort of experimental. So I'm going to leave you off there and just, just basically press the stop button now. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and see you in the next series of this video thing where I do drum and bass. Mwah.